Hello, I am Wei Yu, one of the two members from A134 Team 4. I am here today to present my team's project. As you can probably guess from the intro clip earlier, it has something to do with HDBs. Well, what exactly are we trying to figure out? With the recent COVID-19 pandemic, resale has seen a rise in popularity due to BTO construction delays. According to a research study, factors such as availability and promptness resulted in resale being so attractive to us Singaporeans. Despite all these promising benefits, Singaporeans still need to pay a higher price for resale, and with its increasing demand, many Singaporeans like ourselves may fall victim to a markup price for resale flat. For my teammate Brendan and his girlfriend, who both lead a busy schedule and prefer to buy a resale flat, they would not want to pay an unreasonable price for an already more expensive flat than BTO. Hence, this project aims to investigate the relationship between the specifications of resale flat and its price to predict a reasonable valuation for a resale flat. After looking through a few datasets, we have decided to use this dataset called HDB Resale Price from 2017 to 2023 February from Kaggle, as it not only contains diverse amounts of data, it is also expected to be updated quarterly. Looking at the dataset, what was most appealing to us was the floor area of the flat, how old the flat was, and the story range of the flat. To extract the relevant data, we first had to clean the dataset. A quick analysis reveals that the floor area was already in float value and can be directly used to compare between different resale flats. On the other hand, there was some incomplete data like non-dates or non-existent dates that we had to filter out. Also for story range, a range of stories were given, which we figured would be easier if we were to convert this range of stories into an integer that ranges from 1 to 17 instead. This is where one may think, what about the town of the flat, the type of flat, or the model of the flat? When we plot the bar graphs for each of these variables, we can clearly see roughly which areas are resale flats cheaper, while the flat model already shares roughly the same correlation that floor area has with price. While we concede that these are still important variables to look at, we find that the physical features of the flat, like how big it was or how high it was more appealing to us. Hence, when we were to seriously consider buying a resale flat, then we can look at our bar graphs to determine, for example, where resale flats were being sold for the cheapest. We then started off doing regression with resale price against floor area, which we quickly determined that doing a regression with the log of resale price against floor area was better, as the log of price yielded a better fit of normal distribution than the original resale price. As a result, the explained variance of the log of price was also better, hence we decided to stick to using it. For the age of the flat, we have decided to determine it using the date sold for the flat minus the least commenced date of the flat. To do that, we first had to convert it to Pandas datetime form, which we had to Google how to do it. We can then use this converted form to find the difference with the least commenced date, which then told us how old the flat was in years. Lastly, as mentioned earlier, we converted the story range into an integer value of 1 to 17 using this function as shown earlier. That is all for the preparation of the dataset. As mentioned briefly earlier, we did linear regression for resale price with each of the three variables, those being the size, the age, and the story range. A discovery from our regression on all three variables was that the floor area had the highest correlation with resale price, which is according to what we predicted. It looked like we were not the only ones who were prioritizing looking for big houses. Since all three variables had some correlation with resale price, to ensure a well-rounded, more accurate prediction of resale flats, we then decided to do a multivariate regression, putting all three variables to the test. We want to ensure that our regression model was accurate to a certain percentage. Hence, to determine such, we then decided to do a prediction test. We chose at random two towns, Ang Mo Kio and Yishun, to apply our regression model in order to predict the price of resale flats. Between the both of them, the error between the predicted reselling price of the flat and the actual selling price of it was determined to be about 15% with 10% standard deviation. This proved that the model was accurate to predict resale prices with 5% to 25% accuracy. To improve on our model, we then thought, will a multivariate regression on flats in a singular town return us much better results? This will account for flat prices being affected depending on which town they were from. To do this, we randomly pick another town, that being Clementi. Doing another multivariate regression on resale flats in Clementi alone turned out to be much better for prediction, showing a lower mean error of 11% and a standard deviation of 8%. At the end of this analysis, we learned that there is a correlation between resale price and floor area, the age of the flat, and story range. Even though individually, the correlation between some variables were not strong, when combined, they could accurately predict the resale flat price with only 5% to 25% uncertainty. When we tried constraining the flats to a certain location, the regression model then became even more accurate. When we started off the project initially, we did not take the location of the flat into account. However, after trying and successfully showing that the location of the flat does indeed make our analysis more accurate, we now understand that we cannot simply ignore the location the flat was from. A general resale flat price could be found from multivariate regression of the three variables we selected. However, an accurate price can be determined if we did multivariate regression in the locations of the flats. All good things must come to an end, and with limited time on our hands, we could not but wish that we could also take into account longitude and latitude values that were in the dataset. However, this project is definitely successful, for now my teammate Brandon has a general idea and a readily available regression in his search for a resale apartment. Hence, he will not need to worry about overpaying for a flat. As for myself, I need to first find my girlfriend, and then I can brag to her about what a successful project that we did that can be readily applied into the search for our forever home.